Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good afternoon, assalamu alaikum, and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host Ahmad Nawaz with the latest roundup of sports today. It's a great day for Test cricket because finally we have Pakistan versus Sri Lanka. Again, we're seeing that Pakistan are trying to make a comeback. Of course, Sri Lanka has been dominant. They batted really well despite Pakistan getting a couple of early wickets courtesy of Shaheen Shah Afridi. But then again, if you talk about Pakistan's batting lineup, that was always the question. And we talked about the fact that Sri Lanka will be utilizing their spinners the way Prabhat Jayasuriya has bowled. He's always been a nightmare for Pakistan, and he picked up those couple of wickets that troubled Pakistan. We had Imam ul Haq, Abdullah Shafiq, Babar Azam, Sarfaraz Ahmed all departing back, including Shan Masood. But thank God and thank the heavens as well at the same time. I think you really got to applaud the way Saud Shakil and Salman Ali Agha have played with determination and grit. And you know, this case of Salman Ali Agha, I have been contesting it that he's a wonderful batter. All he needs is a couple of opportunities to get his head into the game. And especially if you talk about Saud Shakil, he looked like the most technically sound batter against spinners. If you observe his technique, the way he was playing the ball late with soft hands, considering there was a short leg in place, trying not to flash drive the ball, but you know, what we call it in local cricket, a check shot, just a small drive with a small feet movement. All of this really worked for Prabhat Jayasuriya, Prabhat Jayasuriya before that, but for Saud Shakil in particular. So what Prabhat was doing, if you look at the couple of dismissals, they were all similar with that angle of the finger where he got the ball to turn away from Abdullah Shafiq first, then Babar Azam with the same finger. It came in, there was a bit of a drift. Shan Masood, of course, got a quicker one, couldn't judge it. Then there was DRS in contention as well. That's a skeptical topic. But the fact is that because of the rain delay, stumps have been drawn, but Pakistan are in a very, very comfortable position now. They're 221 for 5 at stumps, trailed by 91 runs. Saud Shakil is at the crease at 69, followed by Salman Ali Agha on 61. He's played brilliantly with a strike rate of 72, and I think the 6 fours that he's played with 1-6 have really given confidence to Saud Shakil at the other end. So we'll talk about all of this and how Sri Lanka has been able to exploit the spin factor. But for us, our spin element has been very disappointing, let's be honest. After that, we'll move on to tennis, where there is change of the guard. A new champion has been crowned. Carlos Alcaraz has put an end to the dominance of Novak Djokovic at the Wimbledon. He's won his maiden Wimbledon title and he's ended the dominance of Novak Djokovic, who was unbeaten if you talk about a number of games, and then 4 years in a row winning the Wimbledon. It was all a dream come true. So we'll talk about this game in detail and what it means for the world number one to be crowned the Wimbledon champion. There's a lot of talk before this game from Djokovic as well, which I thought was a bit of overconfidence. So we'll discuss all of this. Time now to introduce our guests. First of all, in studios, we've been joined by former Test cricketer, ICC match referee, part of the PCB management in various roles. And of course, I always say that whenever he's around, we get to learn some intriguing facts, not just about playing cricket on the field, but some historical factors outside the field as well. Joining us is Colonel Naushad Ali. Assalamu alaikum, sir. How are you?
Wa alaikum assalam.
Great to have you on the show again, sir. Welcome back. We've also been joined by cricket expert, broadcaster, presenter, and cricket commentator, Asif Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Wa alaikum assalam, Ahmed. I'm very well, thank you.
Great to have you as well, Asif. Sir Naushad, first of all, I think before we come to Pakistan's batting, one really must applaud Sri Lanka. The way they're able to exploit their home conditions to their advantage. And I think in whatever era they've been playing, they've always been able to develop quality spinners that work for them.
Yes, the best part for Sri Lanka at the moment is that they have been playing longer version of cricket very, very regularly. And the teams are coming up here, they have been going abroad. So they are in touch with the 5-day cricket, and that's why they have been able to develop a crop of the spinners and then the fast bowlers as well. Now, just a little bit about Sri Lanka. I mean, as a cricket nation, wonderful nation, cricket crazy nation, loving Pakistanis always, loving cricket and loving Pakistani players as well. I mean, I have seen that if you have they have got 6 venues, test venues in Sri Lanka. And if you look at all those 6 venues, the behavior of the pitches is almost the same. What I'm trying to say is that these pitches in Sri Lanka, initially 1 or 2 hours, they support the fast bowlers. And when they support the fast bowler, they can move the ball in the air off the pitch. And after that, when the play comes in real tougher and tougher for the third day or the fourth day, then the role of the spinners come in. So they have got plenty of spinners, not only in the domestic but also in the international level as well. So Pakistan, yes, of course, they are pitched up against Sri Lankans, and on a pitch where they definitely expect taking turn on the third, fourth day.
Asif, interestingly, like Sir Naushad mentions, that Sri Lanka is a nation that takes their test cricket very seriously. Even Dimuth Karunaratne took to social media and he tweeted that it's great to be back in whites again, playing the real format of the game. So that means, cricket is very important to them, especially test cricket. Now, the problem with not having quality spinners in your camp is not just in a test match, but I think that has also caused your batters to struggle as well, because they were not playing quality spinners on the domestic circuit anymore.
Well, it's a Pandora box now, because, Saklan Mushtaq remain, the legend spinner, remain head coach with the Pakistan cricket team. But I must talk about the difference of the quality. See that if you talk about the first-class career of Prabhat Jasuria, he has 362 wickets, first-class wickets, with an average of 25. And if you talk about, if you go for the comparison, Abrar Ahmed has played only 18 matches, and you brought him into the national side because you do not have any talent here. So I think Pakistan Cricket Board, you have talked a lot, and I have talked a lot. Colonel Sahab so many times discussed this, that we are not getting quality spinners. Or if we have quality spinners like Bilal, Asif, Sajid, we're not working with them. Noman Ali was there. If you see the bowling of Pakistani spinners, Abrar has taken the wicket of De Silva, but rest he has taken 2 wickets, which were definitely, that when we talk about the tail-enders, for me, it wasn't impressive. I want Abrar to strike like Prabhat Jasuria, the way he is bowling, that he has given really tough time to Pakistani batters. And then Noman, I think Noman was not in your plans anywhere. Once again, you have given him a chance on this kind of track where that the Sri Lankan spinners are striking, taking wickets, and Noman Ali was absolutely, colorless. I cannot see any sort of drift in his bowling. The batters were, especially if you talk about Angelo Matthews, he was playing so easily against Noman. So quality spinners is a big problem for Pakistan cricket, either in red ball cricket or white ball cricket.
Sir Naushad, you've been part of the management. I think this is a subject where you'd like to, of course, comment on as well. After the departure of Saeed Ajmal, for particular reasons that are known to us, Pakistan has not had the luxury of a primary spinner. Yes, we've seen that era of Yasir Shah, Zulfikar Babar to an extent, but why have we not been working on developing quality spinners? I was even going through a small graphical chart, if I may tell you as well, which had the most number of wickets in a calendar year. And for Pakistan, it was dominated by spinner Saeed Ajmal for 2 consecutive years, and then various bowlers from around the world. But now it is, like Asif mentioned, a Pandora box, that our focus still, because we've been developing some quality fast bowlers, but that true spinner or that natural spinner element is missing from Pakistan cricket.
At least one category, I'll say, that right-arm leg spinner. We had quite a few right-arm leg spinners in the domestic circuit, in the PSL, and in the other matches as well. But you have some left-arm leg spinners as well. What we are lacking and the drive in altogether is the right arm of a spinner. You don't find a quality right arm spinner in the Pakistan domestic circuit. What I'm trying to say, that they should have a plan. They should have a plan. I mean, you see Mutaya Muralidharan, you see Sanata Jayasuriya. I mean, they have been coming many spinners. They're creating the world record. We had in the past, not that we cannot have that. We have Abdul Qadir, we have Naseem Mulghani, we have Parvez Sajjad, we have so many others spinners who have come, who have played, and they played their role very well. So why can't we have some sort of arrangement now? I mean, you have some sort of arrangement within the domestic circuit, or take them outside in the Pakistan A or Pakistan youngsters teams and the under 19 or Shines, what do you call it, and then pick up from there, and if we have some sort of arrangement for them, 5 or 6 available or 6 or 7 available, then you have a tough camp for them and then teach them particularly on the finer point of spinning bowling.
Absolutely. Asif, why is this a problem for us now? Like you mentioned, Abrar was played on the basis of a certain performance, but then again our primary goal has to be playing spinners based on 4 overs or 10 overs that they've been bowling. Or even if we've selected players from Quaid-e-Azam Trophy, we've not been able to judge the fact that whether they've got rotation on the ball, whether they're using their finger, whether they've got that stock delivery, the odd one, how much turn they're extracting from the wicket. All of these things have not been put into perspective while selecting a spinner.
Well, I think that the main and major reason is personal liking and disliking. I'll ask this question that if Rizwan is there, why you have included Shan Masood, first thing. Secondly, if you have gone through with the record of Zafar Gohar and Mohammad Noman, you will find that huge difference in terms of averages, in terms of taking wickets. But because I think Zafar Gohar hasn't and his kind of lobby there, and that's why, because Noman got a very strong lobby, I personally know that. And yes, in past he performed well, but if you see his performance from last couple of years, he's not up to the mark. So I think this personal liking, disliking, destroying each and everything, especially our test cricket. If Rizwan was there, but I'll ask this question to you, Ahmed, that if you'll get a chance and if you are a captain, to whom will you go? Either Rizwan or with Shan Masood? Of course, Rizwan. So I think these, and you know that Shan Masood got a very strong relationship.
But considering the Pakistani mindset, we talked about this, remember the other day where you said that you don't believe in this strategy. Pakistani mindset is tempted to play a left-hander when they consider that they've got left-arm spinners, and eventually they get out to a left-arm spinner as well.
And now he's sitting in the dugout, in the dressing room, and team is in trouble. Thank you very much the way Saud Shakil and Salman Ali Agha played. They were so sensible. It's all about your mentality. It's all about your mindset. If you're playing with positivity, I think that you can face them easily. Prabhat Jayasuriya is a monster for the Pakistani batters. Sorry to say that.
But Asif, 268 wickets in first class at an average of 30.8. Was Zafar Gohar not good enough for Pakistan cricket?
I'll ask this question to the management of Pakistan Cricket Board. I'll ask the question where Abbas is Muhammad Abbas, and people are talking about that his speed is going down, only 125, 130. You have given the same chances to Mir Hamza. If you see the track record of Abbas, has been phenomenal for Pakistan. I think this personal liking, disliking should be stopped.
Right. Sir Naushad, now I think the most important aspect for all the youngsters who are watching this program is going to be how to play spin effectively as a batter. There is a whole technique that goes behind. I would like you to share that as well, because once you're playing in wickets like Sri Lanka where the ball is turning bananas, then your technique is something that you really need to work and change at the same time.
Yes, very good question. I'm pretty sure that youngsters will keen to know about this, what's happening now in Sri Lanka. You see, the first thing about the spinners, you have to look at the grip. Now, there are so many grips have come up in the spinning department. Then you have the carom board, then you have the left arm leg spinner, you have the right arm leg spinner, then you have the googly, you have the flipper, you have the faster one, so many. So the youngster, if he understands, I mean, he follows, then he should be shown all those grips together, and then try to understand that he can pick up the grip at a distance of 22 yards. If they can do that, then that will be half the work is done for the youngster if he is playing a quality spinner. So if now we will come to the action part of it. If you see, I mean, we were just discussing about that somebody played a flighty delivery coming out of the crease and then drive. And the next delivery, we were pretty sure that will be a faster one,
quicker one,
and it will wrap on the pen, and exactly what happened. So this thing should be in the mind of the youngster. If a spinner who is flighting the ball, he can also dip in the ball and also bowl a faster one as well. So he has to be mentally very, very quick, very easy, and very quick on his steps to come out of the crease if there is a flighty delivery. Then you come on to the spinning part of it. I mean, to read googly is a little bit difficult for the newcomers. But if you keep on watching it on the reel or on the camera, then you will realize that other way around circle is googly, and going right way on the same direction is a right arm leg spinner or left arm leg spinner, whatever it is. So this is something. Now a little bit about the right arm off spin bowling. I mean, if some right arm off spin bowling is flighting the delivery, then he can get more turn. If he is not flighting the delivery, he is a little bit faster, then he wants to beat the bat from the offside, and that should be mentioned off and on by the coach to the youngster, that if he can bowl into a flighter delivery and coming into the batsman, then he can also bowl a straighter one that could go take your edge of the bat to the first slip of the second slip as well. If we keep on working on that, youngsters can pick up on these things. I'm pretty sure that their first lesson should be successful.
Absolutely. So Asif, it all comes down to reading the ball from the hand. And I think this comes as a very important skill for any new batter who wants to play international cricket.
In your intro, you were telling about that how to play with the soft hand. And if you're a batter, please do watch that how Inzamamul Haq used to play against spinners. And then, of course, Mohammad Yusuf and Salim Malik. And if you talk Azharuddin, they were the great batters against spinners. And Saeed Anwar, of course, that I have watched his interview, that the anchor asked him that who was the most easiest bowler against you. He said that I really enjoyed against Muthiah Muralidharan. That was a huge statement. You know, the Muthiah Muralidharan, he was a very great and legend spinner. The only thing, if you are very good in the V, that's the key point against spinner, against fast bowler. If your technique is good, and you're just waiting, as Colonel Sahab said, that if you're just watching the hand, if you're just trying to watch, let's suppose an off spinner, he's coming with this elbow and trying to bowl dusra with the flight delivery. You can just read with the fingers. And same with the leg spinner, you know, if a leg spinner is coming with the straight one, or if he's using this angle, it could be the wrong one, or flighted delivery. So you can just play with the spin. Don't go against the spin. And in test matches, as you have written in your Twitter, in your tweet, that Pakistanis are following the baseball idea. Baseball idea is all about your mindset, not hitting the sixes.
I don't mind that occasional aggression, because I think it pushes the opposition on the back foot. If you're targeting a spinner and you're hitting him for a six or a sweep shot, what Sarfaraz and Shan Masood both did very well, was something that put Sri Lanka a moment on the back foot. You know, when Sarfaraz hit those 2, 3, 4s through the mid-wicket region with a proper punch shot, Sri Lanka were on the back foot. But then again, overusing that shot, Colonel Saab, sometimes your advantage could be the reason for your demise, and that's what happened with Sarfaraz particularly.
I mean, you should have the art of developing your innings. That could not develop playing on the one shot and then you make it a favorite. I mean, it should be a combination of all sorts of shots. It should be a placements, it should be over the head of the bowler, it should be over the head of the mid-wicket, and then a sweep shot. You have mentioned Sarfaraz, yes, of course, he played very well. But on the other hand, Sarfaraz knew it very well. There's a new over is starting, and the bowler, or they talking to his captain, it was already planned that this next delivery will not be a flighted one, but it will be a straighter one on the pads of Sarfaraz. Exactly that thing happened. So you have to plan your inning, plan every delivery, and then think it over for the next delivery also. And then you once you have built up your inning, then you, of course, you can play a little freely, and if you are near the 50 or 55, 56, then you can play all shots as you want.
But sir, the sweep shot itself is a very difficult art to master. You're playing the ball and trying to reach the pitch of the ball. I think a split second, if your balance or your head is out of position, or the ball is a touch fuller to play a sweep shot, you've misread the situation. Particularly if you talk about Sarfaraz's dismissal, he was playing the sweep shot well. But then again, the bowler realized that he's got to pitch it even further up, and that's what he did.
Yeah, I think you are absolutely right. Sarfaraz, I'm pretty sure that he had the idea that next delivery could be a faster one as well. But Sarfaraz is so good on playing this sweep shot. I mean, he takes extraordinary risk to play the sweep shots. Sometimes I have seen him playing sweep shot from the third off stump of the outside the off stump and making it play on the third man or the fine leg as well. So this is what has happened. There are certain shots which are favorite to a certain batsman, and then they maneuver it so very well, it looks very easy for them.
So what was your favorite shot? I'm tempted to ask you now which was your favorite shot.
I used to play the cut shot on the fast bowlers. I used to open the inning and I used to wait for the short one to come in. I used to bring my body right on the height of the ball and try to cut it between gully and slip to the third man.
Oh, and the sound of that shot is amazing. It's almost ecstasy when you're cutting the ball, and that wooden sound with the new ball is absolutely amazing. Yes, Asif, you'd like to add to the discussion?
Yeah, actually, I forgot to take a name of Yunus Khan, the way he used to play against spinners, and especially when we talk about sweep shot. Being a batter, I used to play in school, college, university, and the club cricket. My coach had taught me that when a spinner is coming with the flight, just try to play with the straight bat. And you know that 100 for 5, your team is in trouble, and your team require your services.
You're a senior campaigner.
You're a senior campaigner, you remain the captain, and all the responsibilities on your shoulders, and then you're playing this irresponsible shot. It's a question mark, because you know that we're a big supporter of Sarfaraz. Even we require his services in white ball cricket as well, because Pakistan will play Asia Cup and then World Cup. So we require a regular wicket-keeper batter, and we have, after Rizwan, we have only this guy who could play for Pakistan, because you know that the rest of the junior guys, they're not up to the mark. Yes, they're performing well in the patches, but we require a perfect player like Sarfaraz. So Sarfaraz disappointed today, and I'm not happy to see that only one thing in your mind, that you are facing Parbat Jayasuriya, and he's a very dangerous bowler. Come on, you're a very senior campaigner, you're a senior player, just try to play your natural game. It's not all about that you're playing.
The same danger was given to Saud Shakil and Salman Ali Agha, and if you look at Saud Shakil's inning, majority of the deliveries from Parbat Jayasuriya, he played it very late with a straight bat, as dead as he could on the wicket.
Saud Shakil averaging 52 in his first class career. See the difference of Sarfaraz as well.
The difference would generally be there, but like I said, when Sarfaraz was at the crease, I had confidence and I had high hopes, but I was shocked with that dismissal as well. Even with Babar Azam, that was an unlucky dismissal down the leg side. Shouldn't have happened like this. You either play a shot or you don't play a shot. You don't get stuck in between.
Yeah.
But sir, the rain has worked to our advantage, because it was early stumps, and with probably a trail of 91 runs, you'd expect Pakistan, when tomorrow they come out to bat, to neutralize this. But my problem is still, sir, because at Galt Stadium, stats tell us that the average first innings score is 300 to 350.
Yes.
But when it goes down to the fourth innings, it becomes 100 to 140. So that is a critical score if you're batting in the fourth innings.
Where you are lacking the most. I'm pretty sure that the fourth day and the end of the fifth day, it will be a game of those batsmen who can stay at the pitch and those spinners who can bowl them out. And that will be a good competition. There could be a result as well on the fifth day, but that all depends how our spinners perform, which at the moment I see they are lacking in somehow there.
Absolutely, the skill, quality and experience is not there. That wraps up our time for this segment. But so Naushad, before I just finish this segment, I just want to ask you one more thing. For somebody who's been part of the PCB management and has been at the ICC as well as a match referee, are you of the opinion, because of the World Test Championship cycle and everything, we should have at least 3 test matches in a series, at a minimum of 3 test matches?
Yeah, absolutely right. I'm one of those cricketers who have been in the test match era. I love test cricket, and not only watching, playing also. And I have seen that if you want to be a real good cricketer, just now, even now you watching a test cricket, just Abrar bowling 6 ball. Why are you watching all 6 ball and enjoying it instead of T20 where you are hitting out every ball? Because there Abrar changes his grip. Abrar changes his length also. Then he wants to bring the batsman up. This is what one can understand who is fond of understanding the test cricket as well. So I think when there's so much of work done by the ICC that they have a test match championship, so they should also have some sort of rule that if you are playing test matches, it should be more than 3, 4 or 5.
Absolutely. You know, sir is talking about me glued to Test cricket. I think I've seen my 16-month-old son glued to Test cricket. And it's surprising that he won't even let anyone pass in front of him when he's watching Test cricket. That's how much inspired he is. But Sir Naushad, thank you very much for joining us. Asif, thank you very much to you as well. It's a pleasure having you, gentlemen. Whatever the case may be, we're hoping for some good results for Pakistan, because tomorrow when they come out to bat and they're able to neutralize this trail, but not only this trail, I think 100 runs at least lead would be very important considering you're batting in the 4th innings. But only time will tell. That wraps up this segment. We'll go towards a short break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Sports Extra. It's time now for the biggest Grand Slam of the year, the Wimbledon, where we've had a change of guard. We've got a report on that. Let's take a look and then come back.
Won the Wimbledon men's singles title for the first time by ending Novak Djokovic's recent dominance with a stunning victory. Spain's Alcaraz fought back from a nervy start to win against the defending champion. Djokovic was going for a 5th straight win, an 8th men's triumph and a 24th major all-record equaling feats. Alcaraz, who won his first Grand Slam title at the US Open last year, celebrated by falling flat on his face after taking his first match point. The 36-year-old Serb was outlasted by top seed Alcaraz, who underlined his class by winning a 2nd major title. Alcaraz said that it's an honor to play against Djokovic. He said that he wasn't even born when Djokovic started winning titles.
It's unbelievable that you inspire me a lot. You know, I started playing tennis, watching you. I mean, since I was born, you know, you already was winning tournaments.
On the women's side, Marketa Vondrasova became the first unseeded player to win the Wimbledon women's singles title as Ons Jabeau's wait for a major goes on. The Czech handled the nerves of the occasion better than 2022 runner-up Jabeur to win the final. 6th seed Jabeur has now lost all 3 major finals she has played in and was in tears at the end. Vondrasova, who came to Wimbledon as a fan last year wearing a cast after wrist surgery, fell flat on her back as the magnitude of what she had achieved sank in.
Well, there you have it, Carlos Alcaraz and Vondrasova, the new reigning king and queen of tennis. When you talk about the Wimbledon Championships, to discuss this further in studios, we've been joined by sports expert, tennis today, his forte, Ali Mehdi. Assalamu alaikum, how are you?
Walaikum salam, I'm very well.
Great to have you on the show. Ali, first of all, you know, the whole world has been glued to this match between Carlos Alcaraz and Novak Djokovic. The odds were against him. I mean, just look at the star-studded attendance at a Wimbledon final. We've always had this. But you know, even the likes of Andy Roddick taking to Twitter and saying that this is one of the most intense tennis games he has ever seen in his career. And we're talking about a guy who's played tennis for a majority of his life. So many people have taken to social media to congratulate Carlos Alcaraz. But first of all, I want you to talk us through this match on a technical perspective. Before the game began, what hopes did you have?
Look, the hopes I had was that, look, Djokovic has never played a player like Carlos Alcaraz before, because Alcaraz is that sort of player. He already is very young. He has a US Open under his belt. He's already played Djokovic, actually caused him a lot of trouble in the Roland Garros semi-final, where he eventually lost in 4 sets. And that was only due to injury. So that was actually at the back of Djokovic's head. And let's not forget, he's beaten Djokovic in Madrid in the Masters too. So that was actually behind in Djokovic's head. And Djokovic is, you know, going into this match, I thought it was very cocky and he was very overconfident, because he said in one of his interviews that I don't want to sound overconfident, but I think I can beat anybody. And you know, I mean, a dish is best served when it's cold, and that's exactly happened with Novak Djokovic, because when he was going to this match, he thought he had everything, but you know, one thing he didn't have is that age is slightly catching up. This is not the Djokovic of 2011, 14, 15. Alcaraz has everything in him. He has an excellent, powerful game. He's an excellent drop shot. Baseline game is amazing. Great serve. But the most important is that he's extremely strong. And that you haven't seen with the likes of the other players, you know, who are coming amongst the ranks. Alcaraz is different. He's inbuilt with an excellent mental game and an excellent physical game.
That, you know, technical perspectives, if you look at his career, Carlos Alcaraz comes from the ever so famous Rafa Nadal Academy. He's played most of his tennis there. would generally be mastering clay courts at this age of 20. But grass was something that I was particularly interested to see him on. But number one in the world for a reason, and he proved that.
No, number one and for a reason, because he's had such a meteoric rise. Look, this is a person who 3 years ago, this Ahmad, he was playing only in the ATP Challengers event. And it's amazing what he's done over the past 2 years. I remember in 2021, he played his mentor, Rafael Nadal, and lost to him in Madrid. And I thought, wait a second, this is somebody who's really, finally we can see somebody who can break this juggernaut of all the big four and Djokovic, because Federer is gone, Murray is out now with a hip injury, this with a hip replacement, he's going to retire, and Nadal's going to retire next year. So somebody had to go against Djokovic, and finally we found somebody.
But isn't it surprising? We talked about these next-gen players. We were looking at Alexander Zverev, Stefanos Tsitsipas, Andrei Rublev. We talked about him as well. Matteo Berrettini was doing pretty well amongst the ranks, if you want to talk about particular performances. And out of nowhere comes Carlos Alcaraz, and considering the level of competition he had to come through to reach the final, if there was somebody I was putting my money on to beat Djokovic, it would have been Alcaraz, considering the tennis he was playing. But even if you look at this game, particularly, you talked about something very, very important, that is the accuracy rate of those drop shots, which clearly made a difference to Djokovic's game.
Look, that is something which I haven't seen before. Other than Djokovic and Roger Federer, the great Roger Federer, nobody plays the drop shots with such accuracy, and he did it yesterday for fun. I think he almost had a 95% record when it comes to drop shots. And believe me, Ahmed, playing tennis myself and being with so many tennis colleagues and following it for like 30 odd years, when it comes to that drop shot, it is the hardest shot to execute, because under so much pressure and so much accuracy, it's very hard. But he excelled at that. He served extremely well, and when he was actually down and out, if you talk about the match, 6-1, getting hammered in that first set, and in the second game to hold your nerve and win it 8-6, then we saw only one winner, and that was Alcaraz, because third set he blew away Djokovic, lost his focus in the fourth, but in the fifth set, he knew that he was doing to Djokovic what Djokovic does to others. He wore him down, won the important points, and when Djokovic threw the kitchen sink at him, he stretched extremely hard, and he managed to win the all most difficult points.
But in the campaign, he smashed a racket. He booed the crowd as well at the same time. All of this has happened on Centre Court Arena.
Yeah, I mean, he is full of theatrics too. And another thing which actually worked very well for Carlos Alcaraz, Ahmed, was yesterday, is that the crowd was completely behind him. It shows how much Djokovic is hated on Centre Court. But that worked in Alcaraz's favor, and he took that all in. He was with the wave of the crowd. He excelled extremely well. And the most important thing is the most difficult points, he won them. Tennis is a game of nerves and winning the most important points, and that's exactly what he did.
Absolutely. Congratulations to Carlos Alcaraz, because I think he is one that will stay there. This name is going to stay there for tennis, and all of you better get used to it. Ali Mehdi, on the women's side, I know you're gutted that Ons Jabeur has not been able to make it. As far as winning the Wimbledon is concerned, it's twice a heartbreak now. But the fact is that Vondrousova, I thought, was brilliant, and I very frankly did think that she's going to win this final.
Look, going into this match too, I really did think I was of the opposite opinion. I genuinely thought that, yes, that Ons Jabeur was going to win. Look, I was watching the semi-final against Sabalenka, the Australian Open champion. She was 4-2 down in the second set. And a set down too. She rallied her way and made it to the final. I just thought that experience of losing 2 finals at the US Open in 22 and again losing against Rybakina, that would help her. But no, Vondrousova was amazing. She came, just with flying colors. She served extremely well. The angle, the kickback serve was very good. Won the important point. Baseline was brilliant. And Ons Jabeur had nothing. And I think something which we were talking on off air, that Ons Jabeur is not a finals player. She will have to learn about this, because there have been many great players like Kim Clijsters, Simona Halep losing their 3 or 4 Grand Slam finals. She'll have to learn from their expertise if she really wants to win a Grand Slam.
Well, Ons Jabeur really didn't have those nerves for the final. I think too much of that emotional setback caused that defeat. But there were many big names that were probably favorite when you talk about this Wimbledon final. But Vondrousova came out of nowhere and took this. Of course, she had been undergoing some injuries as well before this as well. Does she have it in the tank to continue this dominance?
Look, you know, I think she was unseeded. She wasn't seeded in the top 32 too. She's somebody who came completely out of the blue. I have been following her career, but I didn't think she had much of a chance. But the reason I think she did very well was because of her left-handed game and awkward, you know, sort of gameplay, which made it very difficult for Ons Jabeur. I think she'll do very well, but whether she's going to win multiple Grand Slams, I'm not too sure.
We're not too sure as well, but Ali Mehdi, thank you very much for joining us on Sports Extra. One thing is, I think, certain that Carlos Alcaraz is a name that would be making headlines throughout the world, and that bucket hat he came out with for the post-match was something very special as well.
Love it.
Love it, absolutely is the word. But it was an interesting final, but you can never ignore Novak Djokovic. His comeback now from here onwards, whenever he's going to face Alcaraz in any of the Grand Slams throughout the year, I think will definitely define his career over the next year as well. That wraps it up from me and the entire team of Sports Extra. It's goodbye for now.